Welcome to my show, In Conversation with Lebogang Seale. Joining me today is the new Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Johannesburg, Professor Letlhokwa Mpedi. Prof, congratulations on your appointment. This must be exciting times for you and the family.
Thank you very much, Mr. Seale, for inviting me to UJTV. Yes, this is an exciting time, not only for me, but my family and a lot of people, my people at my village, are also excited about this opportunity. Yeah, thanks for having me.
What village is that? Talking about your village? I'm sure people out there would want to know what village is that.
I won't mention the name, but what I can tell you is in the Hammanskraal area in the Northwest Province.
Okay. Prof, in September 2021, not long ago, you were appointed as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic. And then a year later, just a year later, you were appointed as the Vice-Chancellor Designate. Your ascent to the highest office at this university has been meteoric. That's your story. What does it feel like?
Yeah, you could say that it's meteoric. It's exciting, but one thing that I would like to emphasize is that one must not only look at this from the time when I was appointed as Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic Designate. I'm a UJ man through and through, having started working at UJ, in 2000 when it was there in Afrikaans University, and paying my dues, working my way, from, head of department, vice, dean, and then deputy vice-chancellor. But it's an exciting time for me. And I'm happy that I have been appointed as the next vice-chancellor of UJ. I knew that one day I will be a vice-chancellor, but the question was when and where, and I'm so happy it's at UJ.
Talking about being excited, Prof.
Yeah.
In just about 3 weeks' time,
the
university will again be transformed into a carnival atmosphere.
That's right. Yeah.
As the who's who in the education and other sectors descend at the Sanlam Auditorium for your inaugural ceremony.
Yes.
Prof, you were there when Prof Moralo was inaugurated. You saw everything.
Yes.
I will be excited and nervous at the same time.
Yes, I'm excited. Nervous, I wouldn't say nervous. Look, I'm ready for this. So I can't wait for the inauguration and to share some of my thoughts, some parts of my vision with everybody present. Remember, there will be all sorts of people there who really love UJ, want to see UJ move forward, and also people who saw me, grow, who supported me. And to have all these people present there, it's just amazing. And I'm very much looking forward to this event. Yeah.
So your journey from the student to the alumni, then to the vice-chancellor and principal of the same university. How does it feel?
Amazing. The way I see it as my story, but as the story of a young person growing up at a village with dreams. And I think my story is exciting, yes, for me, but also for others who have dreams. I hope it encourages them to work harder and to keep on dreaming, because not so long ago I was just a pupil walking to school at my village and wondering what things look like, in big cities. And through hard work, then I could grow and worked hard. And today, here am I, about to be inaugurated as the next vice-chancellor. So it's exciting, Mr. Seale.
Very exciting and inspiring at the same time. And that background that you are referring to, Prof. One wonders, how has that prepared you for this role? It's a big role.
It is a big role. But remember, at the end of the day, whoever fulfills this role is a human being and must continue to act and behave like a human being. For me, my upbringing has taught me a lot of things that I think will serve me well in this role. Humility, hard work, and continuous self-improvement. These are the things that I've learned growing up. And these are the qualities that I'm bringing to this role. It is important to remain humble, and also to show that being humble doesn't mean, you know, you're stupid or incapable of discharging certain responsibilities, and also believing in hard work, you know, and continuous self-improvement. This is what I hope, you know, the people I lead will take forward with me. That as an institution, we should continue to work hard, and we must continue to improve ourselves.
Yeah, being humble and the humility. Yeah. But you also spoke about hard work.
Yes.
Just in reference to that, you've taken over from one of the most industrious and dynamic academics. Yeah. And then I think Prof Marwala came and then he pushed the frontiers of knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. And especially with this fourth industrial revolution, industrial revolution currency. So I think anyone like yourself will be, what does it feel like taking over from somebody of Prof Marwala's caliber?
Yeah, it is exciting in a way because, look, he brought his own personal touch to the role, you know. And one thing that one can learn from him is that you have to be yourself. Remember, Prof Marwala succeeded Professor Aaron Rensbeck. Yes. And Professor Rensbeck did an amazing job. He laid the foundation. The important thing here is that when Prof Marwala joined UJ, took over the role of Vice-Chancellor, he didn't try to be Professor Rensbeck. He brought his own personal touch. Yes. While building on what Prof Rensbeck did. So what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to be Professor Marwala or try to be Professor Marwala. There's only one Professor Marwala and there's only one me. This is what I tell people. Yes. I'm going to build on you know, the foundation that he has laid and take UJ forward, but in my own way. As you know, I'm a lawyer by training. I'm an expert in the area of social security and labor law. So I'm going to bring that angle to this role while building on the fourth industrial revolution you know, framework that has been set. What I'm saying and what we'll be saying is that we need to ensure that the 4IR technologies are human-centered. So we're going to bring a human side to this. That's why we talk about global excellence and stature 4.0 for societal impact. So we're going to be deliberate about everything that we're doing in the area of 4IR to ensure that it impacts positively on society. It addresses the challenges that we are facing today as a country, as a continent, and as the global South, you know.
Since the announcement of your appointment, I've realized that you have spent more time, you know, together. And what has he said to you? Has he given you any particular advice?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you, I'm so happy that I'm succeeding somebody of Prof Marwala's caliber. He's one of a kind. He's a guy that is comfortable with himself. And we've been spending a lot of time together. We've been writing op-eds together. Our transition really is a smooth one, and we are privileged as the university to have such a seamless transition. And in terms of advice, you know, we talk almost 3 times, 4 times a day, and one of the things that he shared with me and has stuck with me is that I should be myself. I'm a lawyer. And I should not try and be somebody else. And that is somebody that, that is something, that, you know, speaks to my heart. Another thing he said to me, as vice-chancellors, we are laying down the foundation for a university that should remain standing and solid in the next 100 years. So I must bring my own personal touch to this. And there are challenges that he had to deal with. And I will get new challenges that I should confront head on and take the university forward in my own way, of course.
Talking about laying the foundations that will last for the next 100 years and so, you're taking over at a time when the university is undergoing seismic changes in leadership. From the chair of council, the chancellor, and the registrar. Those are very key positions. The timing, I'm sure you have thought about that.
Mr. Seale, a lot of people are saying, hey, there are a lot of leaders coming in and some leaving. And I say to them that, guys, yes, it's sad that we will be losing people with institutional memory, but they are moving on. The nature of our roles at the university as executives is that we've got limited time to make an impact and move on. You know, at UJ, when you reach 65 as an executive, you have to move on. And if you are younger, you've got a 5-year contract as an executive, and which can be renewed for another 5 years. After that, you have to move on. So it's the nature of this job that somebody must come in, give it his all or her all, and then move on. And in terms of this change, I see there's an opportunity also to build a new and a strong team while building on the great work that has been done by people who came before us. So for me, I joke, you know, I don't know if you watch Netflix, and I shouldn't be advertising other people, but I love this series called the Green Leaves. The Bishop Greenleaf told some of his congregants that it's a new season. Embrace it. So I tell people that this is a new season. Embrace it. We're going to do amazing things, and it's time for renewal and also to take the university forward. And soon I'll be saying goodbye. You know, time flies. Other people will be saying goodbye, and then we will be saying to those that will be following in our footsteps to say, take this institution forward. And that is how, you know, universities, institutions such as universities outlive people who established them.
One of the noteworthy things about you taking over is that the transition appears to be so seamless. And then how has that helped you in terms of settling in your role?
Remember, I'm a UJ man through and through. I joined this institution when it was still RAU. Then I went overseas. I worked in Munich at the Max Planck Institute for 3 years, and I came back because I love it here. We have an amazing setup. And I've come through the ranks, as I've pointed out earlier. And through that, I have an understanding of what this institution is all about and what it wants to achieve. And remember, I've been part of the executive leadership group as dean. I know many of the colleagues that are working so well for this institution. I've been a member of the Management Executive Committee, MEC, since for the last 2 years. So some of the ideas and things that are needed to take the institution forward, you know, are things that are not new to me. So it's building on this and changing offices and taking this huge responsibility and taking UJ forward.
Of course, building on the university and the legacy that has been created and taking the university forward. However, since the announcement of your appointment, people have been asking them and wondering, what is Prof Mpedi bringing? What strategy? What is game plan to take this university forward? And especially in ensuring that its missions and objectives are achieved. And of course, maintaining that a positive image.
I'll take you back to when UJ was formed, you know, as UJ. And when Professor Aaron Rensbeck was at the helm of this institution, he introduced global excellence and stature as a strategy of the university, and that has served us well. And Professor Marwala came, he added his own personal touch to that, and he introduced global excellence and stature 4.0. By that, adding the 4th industrial revolution as part of that. So as you can see, we are building on this. We don't have a situation when a new guy comes, he takes this university to this other place and all that, and confusing people. So what I'm going to do, we're not going to discuss the global excellence and stature strategy. We're not going to discuss 4.0, that's the 4th industrial revolution. We're going to add on that. So I'm bringing global excellence and stature 4.0, but for societal impact. We are going to ensure that our strategies, whatever we're doing, impacts positively on the society, addressing the challenges of the day, high unemployment, poverty, inequality, and so on. So with that, we're going to ensure that our 4IR technologies are human-centered. As you know, we recently launched with the Department of Science and Innovation the 3D concrete, 3D printing housing project. And with that, you have questions that are raised. What does this mean for your bricklayers? So as we introduce these technologies, as part of the strategy, we will be coming up with ways and means to ensure that people are not adversely affected by these technologies.
Absolutely. So, Prof, as you would know, one of the most enduring challenges facing the higher education sector in this country
Yes.
is student funding.
Yes.
And also accessibility for qualifying students. We just come from this registration period, and
Right.
you saw there was a
Yeah.
jostling for spaces. What's your take on that? And what can be done to address this problem?
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is, as you may know, the issue of student funding is something close to my heart. I was a poor student myself. I know the challenge of waking up in January and wondering whether you will be able to go back to varsity to finish your studies. As you know, I've introduced, working closely with colleagues in advancement, finance, and many other colleagues, we have introduced the so-called our Future Impact program. Is a fundraising initiative where I contributed 50,000 to that initiative to support students to be able to register. We're going to build on these initiatives to make sure that we raise funds, from individuals, from our alumni, from industry, to ensure that we can support our academically deserving students that they complete with their studies. And linked to this, we have students that don't have food. We're going to continue with our meal assistance programs, because by enabling our students to complete their studies, we don't only change their lives, but we change the lives of their families and the communities where they come from. So we're going to continue with that. But there's another challenge that we cannot ignore. We simply don't have enough universities in South Africa. I mean, in South Africa, at UJ, for just over 10,000 study places, we received over 350,000 applications. There's so many students that we can take. So we cannot take all the students that would like to study with us, but there are other things that we can do to ensure that we open up the university, is by ensuring that those students that are fortunate to be studying with us finish their studies on time. Because when students stay longer in the system, they also block, space that could be given to other students. Yeah. Other than this, we also have to explore the opportunities, of online education, to see how best we can open up the university to give those students that are hungry for education an opportunity to study with us. But at the same time, we must also say that while it's important for prospective students to study at universities, we also need artisans and so on. So we need to ensure as a country that we strengthen our TVET colleges and also other opportunities to give, our school leavers an opportunity to train in fields, and get skills that are required to take our economy forward.
Yes. And the student funding project that you just referred to, double impact, how is it doing? What has the response been like?
Yeah, the response has been positive, and I want to take this opportunity and thank all those that have contributed. We had donations from big companies. We had received donations from our alumnus. We received donations from our staff. So it's exciting. It's really exciting, and we're grateful for that.
Yeah. Prof, as we conclude,
yes.
There are a myriad of problems, in our country, and one of which is issues of diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Of course, including in the higher education sector. Are there any specific initiatives that you have thought about and identified to address these issues, especially at the University of Johannesburg?
Yeah, transformation is extremely important. We are one of the most transformed universities in the country, but I'll tell you, this is a continuous project. I mean, we need more female professors, We need to ensure that persons with disabilities are appointed and they get opportunities. And in the process, we should not leave out our non-academic members of staff, And we have seen an exciting trend at UJ where non-academic members of staff are pursuing PhD studies. So we need to ensure that when they are done, they get the relevant support, and so that they continue to enjoy their jobs. Another important thing, I don't want to leave students out. We need to make sure that our student body is representative of the demographics of our country. So we're also going to introduce programs to ensure that we actively recruit our students that are underrepresented at UJ, while ensuring that those students that come from the excluded and marginalized communities, continue to access our university and be the best that they can be.
Yeah, and I think that point of students coming from marginalized communities and then getting opportunities and then to study and graduate and then which also helps break that poverty cycle in their families, and that's something that the university has done well, I'm told.
Yes. No, you're right. I mean, if you look at what we are doing, many of our students are bright, extremely gifted, and the only challenge they are facing is that they come from humble backgrounds. I wouldn't even call it as a challenge, but it's a challenge in the sense that they have limited resources. And as a university, we have been doing very well to support such students. We've got the SRC Trust Fund, that has been helping students, with to register. We've got a feeding program to help the students, have some warm meal per day, and so on. So these are some of the initiatives that help the students. And we are deliberate in that. And in doing so, we are showing the world that access and excellence are not mutually exclusive. We just need right programs to support the students that are marginalized or that would not get this opportunity had it not been for our interventions, access higher education.
Lastly,
yes,
what is your message to young people out there? A young person in a far-flung, remote area like, say, Lusiki, Malamulele, and all of those. What is your message to them?
My message to such kids is that it's not about where you are coming from, it's about where you are going. And I would like to use myself as an example. I had big dreams growing up at my village. And often people would say, he doesn't have connections, he doesn't come from a wealthy family, what can he offer? And I proved many wrong, that it's not about where you're coming from, it's about where you are going. So remember this, work hard, don't go out there with, this entitlement mentality that we see. Work hard, naysayers, should not discourage you, keep on pushing and just be yourself. And you'll see you will end up in places that you have never imagined you will be.
Prof, on that note, thank you very much for making time and sharing your insights. It was a pleasure hosting Prof Mpedi, the new Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Johannesburg. Thank you very much for making time and sharing your insights with us. It was enlightening. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your time.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.